Army Corps meeting? Is this the city's plan, or is this the plan that the Army Corps of Engineers support?
It's the Corps project, but in conjunction, the city is the sponsor. So
okay, so it's not something that you guys. How do I put it? I just asked Rick Smith about it, but I doubt he'll even ask.
The Corps designed it, but they took input from the city.
Yes.
But the city wants something that the Corps can't do. The Corps will say, we can't do that.
So there's a dump in our river, and people that lived in their homes for 50 years and more were told they had to get out on the west side of the river because they needed to make way for your flood wall. The Army Corps of Engineers flood wall. Hold on. What's your name?
My name is Larry Waddell.
And you said you live where?
1623 A Street, Southwest. My house is still there. It's just
Okay.
not rebuildable.
Not rebuildable.
So they tell me.
So they tell you.
So they tell me.
I'm just asking.
Oh, well,
would that qualify as coercion in a voluntary buyout?
for the west side? Now,
Yeah.
I know during feasibility, the Corps did evaluate protection on both the east side and the west side. But however, the recommended plan only includes protection on the east side.
The west side was never approved by the Corps, right?
Correct. It's not part of the recommended plan.
And then I've got another question because I have a lot of them. Hold on. They do have a construction zone and a greenway on the east side. All right? So, where was I going with that? You will protect one side of town. You can't damage communities downstream, but you can damage a community within. What are they're talking about putting a flood mound of dirt, I don't know, on like 4th Street on the west side. All right, so if this water came through the sewers, aren't they just going to hold it in?
Well, and that's why, like on the east side, that's where you see these pumping stations.
Right. Well, everything's been about the east side. Everything.
Well, that's because the Army Corps has the...
No, I mean everything from the beginning. The people on the west side, not here at the dump, that's blocking the river at a 90-degree angle, but the people of the west side were told by our city that they had to give up their homes, sell their houses, because the Army Corps of Engineers was going to put a flood wall up. Would that not qualify as coercion in a voluntary property acquisition?
Because they lied.
Yeah, because you guys are not obviously...
Protection on the west side.
We have not, that was not approved. Correct.
That's what I'm asking.
They took the land saying that the Army and Corps of Engineers was going to build this.
Who's they?
The city.
Okay.
Yeah.
City officials. Some in this room.
Maybe at that time the study wasn't complete. I don't know.
The 2008 study was complete
I'm
on the time check and
the feasibility study.
the Czech Village. I'm just upset because these people were told that they had to get out of their houses and
For flood protection.
because the Army Corps of Engineers needed their land.
For flood protection.
Yeah,
So now we're not getting flood
there's definitely some disconnect there because only the east side has been authorized.
What are you talking about now?
Oh, there's a dump right here. This is a dump. Nobody lives there.
When you say a dump, it was actually...
It's a dump.
On a hole.
They're still putting stuff in it.
You're suggesting that we use that property?
Yeah.
Corps of Engineers, by law,
Taking out this entire...
cannot build a project anywhere there's pollution. So if this property has what we call HTRW, hazardous toxic radioactive wastes, At first, we could use it, but somebody would have to come in and physically clean all of this up.
That's what I'd like to see done.
Talk about it. That's great, but that all costs money too.
My question is, if residents were told by city officials and city workers that their homes, they needed to take their homes and tear them down to put up a flood wall with their Army Corps of Engineers, would that qualify as coercion in a voluntary property acquisition?
Would that qualify as, did you say coercion in a what?
Voluntary property acquisition. We feel like we've been led to believe that the west side was going to be protected, and our neighbors sold their houses so that their other neighbors could be protected, and now there's no protection at all.
Well, the west side protection, as much as the Corps of Engineers would like to participate in that, we can't because of that.
We understand that.
And the city obviously has some intentions there that it's up to the voters of the city to decide.
We just voted it down on May 3rd.
Yeah.
Well, they're not Army Corps.
So as far as the question on buying houses to build a flood wall and things of that nature, I can give you an answer here from the Corps side, and then I guess we can jump over to the west side to make it a decision.
Yeah, that's just what I need.
The city is responsible for acquiring the right-of-way.
That the people in those neighborhoods were told they couldn't rebuild because the Army Corps of Engineers is going to put up a wall.
Now
And now
the
it's
very
empty.
houses that they were told they couldn't rebuild, now we're giving them away to, these
That's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know who told them that, it wasn't the city.
It was the city.
The city came in and set up a construction zone, arbitrarily set up a construction zone.
And that's kind of in this area here.
Well, I went down to the.
I haven't heard that one. I've heard
It was on 8th Street a while ago.
And what did they
Rules change every other day.
Well, yeah, you can build it, you can get your own money, but you can't get any jump start money. So you effectively told the people, we're not going to help you.
Or lost money.
That's what I'm starting to hear. Those people were forced to abandon because there was no assistance for them. And then, since the Corps is not building it, now what are they doing with that? What's the city going to do with that property?
Holding on to it for west side project.
a lot of times.
Yeah, the city council made a decision not to dispose of any property that's in the construction area, and they have.
So, was Rick Davis in the construction zone or not?
Yeah, all the way up to 8th Street.
Huh? Well, you can.
Went all the way to 8th Street.
No, yeah, but it's not
Yeah, but
an
it's
angle.
But now it's different?
The Quaker Road dump land before they built houses on it over 100 years.
Not in the construction.
Have you looked at
Absolutely not,
the
because
water?
we checked on that when they made their proposals, and that was verified, they are not. None of those properties that have been given, the city has not disposed of any properties that are in the construction area.
I want to ask you one more question.
I'm in that department, and I was involved with leaving a lot of this, and we have not, the city has not given away
He's not,
any property.
Yeah, we can't get help.
They control the volunteer help because
I
control.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they even take down
Vista, AmeriCorps, all of it.
At the end of 2010.
He's talking about some of those issues.
There were 24 at least flood victims still waiting for assistance, and they couldn't get assistance. There was no volunteer.
There's still no assistance.
But I'll tell you what, at that time I was putting a new roof on my house, and in the backyard I had a big dumpster, and I was putting shingles and stuff in the dumpster, and I kept seeing big pieces of green treated scrap in there, and I said, where's that scrap come from? Because I'm paying $50 a ton, And the volunteers that were staying at my house said, well, we're doing a porch for a guy down here on 8th Street. I said, a porch?
Beautify that flood wall.
Where is it? So they told me, I drive down there, it's Courtney's porch.
The road down there.
They're putting a porch on Courtney's house.
Courtney Ball.
Courtney Ball from.
Oh, was they wanted to block the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
Why not?
This was in November, October, November 2010, right before the green shirts were gonna leave.
So the flood
This is what he had been doing.
All that stuff.
We're still waiting for help.
Well, it's telling us no.
Having them put a porch on his house.
There was a question.
Using the volunteer, using the long-term recovery volunteers to put a porch on his house, why flood victims.
None of that money went.
So the unintended.
I thought he was a flood victim.
Wasn't his fault. He didn't own that house. He was a renter. He didn't own that.
But see, the thing is this house was done, this was a non-essential porch. When people like me, I didn't even have, drywall in my house. There were all kinds of flood victims that needed to have assistance to rehab, and he's having his own, it's kind of like the captain taking the only lifeboat.
Gets me is that they've received over $7 million in donations and state money and city money and free houses. Okay, let's just make it real simple. The city gives them a lot or a house. It gives them one, free. Then Block by Block uses free labor to rebuild it. And then they sell it. And then they get that money and that goes in their bank account. And somebody, so I asked Rick Smith and I asked the mayor and I said, well, what do they do with that money? Well, they reinvest it. They fix another thing.
But yet they still have their hand out.
I said, okay. So now they've got $7.3 million. They got lots of houses. They got free labor to rebuild it. When they sell them, they get to keep the money. I said, what happened? And you tell me they're going to reinvest that money. I said, okay, at a federal charge, the last house is going to be bought. The last house is going to be rebuilt. The last house is going to be resold. Now what are they going to do with those houses? Oh, well, we never thought about that.
Well, the city told everybody they needed their houses so they could put a flood wall up that was sponsored by the Army Corps of Engineers, but that was obviously not true.
And I think we're going to vote no! Vote no.